We traveled from Venice to Florence by the Italian train Italo, speeding at 300 kilometers per hour. Our first stop was the Galleria dell'Accademia. In the long, arched hallway, called La Galleria dei Prigioni, the Hall of the Prisoners. On either side stand Michelangelo's unfinished figures, the prisoners, or slaves. These sculptures show Michelangelo's unique technique of non finito, where the work is intentionally left incomplete to reveal the dramatic tension between form and matter. It is said he believed he was freeing the figures already trapped inside the stone. At the end of the corridor, you see the masterpiece called David. The figure rises over 5 meters tall. As you move closer, details emerge. The veins on his right hand, swelling slightly as he grips the sling. The furrow of concentration in his brow. The twist of the torso. Following the classical contrapposto pose. The astonishing smoothness of the marble, glowing under the skylight. Originally carved between 1501 and 1504, from a single block of marble that other artists had rejected as flawed. Michelangelo transformed it into a masterpiece that defined the Renaissance ideal of human perfection. For centuries, David stood outdoors in Piazza della Signoria, exposed to weather and political drama, before being moved here to the Accademia in 1873 for protection. The room to the left of David is one of the most quietly beautiful parts of the Accademia. This 19th century sculpture gallery is a long bright hall dedicated mainly to the works of Lorenzo Bartolini and Giovanni Dupre, two of Italy's greatest neoclassical sculptors. Here, you suddenly move from the tension of Michelangelo's rough, unfinished figures into a world of softness, elegance, and idealized beauty, almost all carved in luminous white marble. This hall is filled with female nudes, mythological figures, allegorical women, and portrait busts, arranged the way they originally were in the sculptor's studio. This room was originally the Gipsoteca, the plaster model gallery belonging to the Accademia delle Belle Arti, the art school next door. In the 1800s, students learned to sculpt by studying the ideal female anatomy. The sculptors Bartolini and Dupre were the main masters whose works were used as teaching models. The Accademia surrounds you with rooms filled with religious art from the Middle Ages and early Renaissance, shimmering with gold leaf backgrounds typical of 13th and 14th century Florentine art. Christ, Mary, and angels float in spiritual space, weightless and symbolic. The Florence Duomo dominates the city like a great stone flower, its marble facade gleaming in white, red, and green, and its vast terracotta dome rising like a second sun above the rooftops. But its story is far more dramatic than its serene beauty suggests. Construction began in 1296. The city wanted a cathedral so magnificent that no other European city could rival it. The architect Arnolfo di Cambio laid the foundations, but no one yet knew how to finish the project's most daring feature. A dome so large that no existing technology could build it. For decades, the vast circular hole at the top of the cathedral remained open, a problem no one could solve. In 1418, a competition was announced to design the dome. Brunelleschi, a goldsmith with no formal architectural training, proposed something that worked. A double-shelled dome with an outer dome and a lighter inner dome. In 1436, after 16 years of work, the dome was complete. An engineering miracle that still amazes architects today. The Ponte Vecchio is not just a bridge. It is one of the most iconic symbols of Florence. The bridge we see today was built in 1345, but a bridge has stood at this exact spot since Roman times. Because the Arno River here is narrow, it was always the perfect crossing point. Floods destroyed earlier wooden bridges, but this stone version endured almost 700 years and even survived World War II. The small wooden shops that cling to the sides of the Ponte Vecchio look almost like a village, suspended over water. But they weren't always filled with glittering gold. They were butcher shops. Meat scraps and blood were thrown into the river with its terrible smell. Grand Duke Ferdinando I Medici ordered the butchers to leave and replaced them with goldsmiths and jewelers, because the Medici court passed over the bridge every day, and they didn't want to smell the rot of butchered meat. Since then, it has been the most elegant jewelry street in Florence, famous for handcrafted gold. The shop windows sparkle like tiny treasure chests. As you stand on the bridge, running above the shops is a long, enclosed walkway, the Vasari Corridor. Built in 1565 by architect Giorgio Vasari, it connected the Palazzo Vecchio, the government palace, to Pitti Palace, the Medici residence. The Medici used it to walk unnoticed and protected across the city. From its small round windows, they could watch life on the bridge without ever being seen. It is one of the most unusual architectural features in Europe.